Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when a decision must be made. A decision to rise or remain, to stretch or shrink, to live in purpose or settle in comfort. And that moment, more often than not, arrives quietly. It doesn't knock with thunder. It creeps in, disguised as frustration, as the unease you feel when you're surrounded by people who don't speak your language. Not the language of your mouth, but the language of your destiny. They are holding you back, and deep inside, you already know it. You feel it when you share a dream, and they respond with laughter, not curiosity. You see it when your ambition makes them uncomfortable, when your goals make them defensive, when your progress makes them whisper behind your back. These people, some of them may be friends, family, co-workers, don't need to scream to stop you. All they need to do is exist in your space long enough to infect your thinking with their limitations. You were not born to play small so others could feel big. You were not designed to remain average to protect someone else's ego. Greatness demands separation. If a rocket wants to reach orbit, it must shed weight. It must leave behind the pieces that can no longer serve the altitude it is destined to reach. And so must you. You see, your environment is not neutral. It is either sharpening your sword or dulling your edge. Every conversation, every interaction, every opinion that enters your mind either pulls you forward or holds you still. And the people who say, "You've changed," they're right, because you're supposed to. Growth is the evidence that you're alive. The only things that stay the same are monuments and tombstones. But don't be fooled. This isn't about bitterness. It's not about hatred or revenge. This is about alignment, about choosing to place yourself in rooms where your vision is not ridiculed but refined, where your hunger is not mocked but mirrored, where people don't just tolerate your dreams, they ignite them. You don't need to fight anyone. You don't need to argue, prove, or explain. Just move. Move with clarity. Move with conviction. Move with the understanding that loyalty to your old self will cost you your future. That keeping people around who drain your energy, who laugh at discipline, who glorify mediocrity, will only delay the life that was always meant for you. And yes, walking away is hard. Guilt will try to keep you rooted. Memories will whisper, but they were there when. But let me ask you, do you want to live in the past, or do you want to build the future? You are the captain of your mind. You are the gatekeeper of your destiny. And if you are brave enough to leave behind what no longer serves you, be it toxic people, weak habits, or self-doubt, then what lies ahead is not just success, it's freedom. This is the price, this is the cost, and this is the calling. Answer it, walk forward, and don't look back. Success is not handed to the one who wishes. It is not given to the one who waits. It is earned by the one who is willing to raise their standard when everyone else is making excuses. It's not about luck or timing. It's about what you're willing to demand of yourself and what you're no longer willing to tolerate around you. You see, most people want success, but they want it while keeping the same habits, the same circles, the same distractions. They want elevation without sacrifice. That's not how it works. The higher you climb, the less you can carry. You cannot ascend while dragging the weight of complacency, gossip, laziness, or toxic relationships. There are people in your life who mean well but live low. Their mindset is fixed. Their goals are small. Their conversations are surface level. They resist growth, and in doing so, they resist your evolution. And if you're not careful, they will slowly, quietly, pull you down to their level, not out of evil, but out of comfort. Because your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your ambition reflects their fear. Your grind exposes their inaction. And so they'll make comments like, "You've changed," or "Don't take life so seriously." But what they really mean is, "Don't rise too far ahead of me." When you raise your standard, everything around you has to change. Your routine, your energy, your priorities. You start waking up earlier. You stop engaging in meaningless talk. You guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. And yes, it gets lonely. Growth often does. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you're choosing different. You're choosing the pain of discipline over the comfort of regret. You're choosing to be intentional where others coast. You're choosing to break cycles, build legacy, and walk a path few are bold enough to take. Let others settle, let them mock, let them misunderstand. That is not your concern. You're not here to be liked. You're here to fulfill purpose. You're here to do what only you can do. And that level of life demands more from you than the average is willing to give. It demands focus when others are distracted. It demands resilience when things go wrong. It demands that you walk away from anything and anyone that lowers your frequency, your energy, your belief. Because success is not a one-time event, it's a lifestyle, a decision you make daily. And only those who choose to live by a higher standard will ever taste what it truly means to win. So if you want the results that most people never get, you must become the person most people are unwilling to become. That is the cost. That is the path. And if you are ready to pay that price, then no person, no obstacle, no past, and no opinion can stop what you're building. Keep walking, keep rising, and never, ever lower your standard for someone who has no intention of raising theirs. One of the greatest threats to your growth isn't the enemy you see coming. It's the silent saboteur standing right next to you. They smile when you speak, but never clap when you win. They listen, but only to find your weakness. They offer advice, but it's laced with limitation. These people don't shout their doubt at you. They whisper it in ways that sound like love, concern, or realism. But make no mistake, their words are designed to dim your light just enough that you start questioning your own shine. These are the ones you must become aware of, not with anger, not with hate, but with clarity and self-respect. They'll say things like, "Don't get your hopes up," or "Be realistic." They'll act like they're protecting you from disappointment, but what they're really doing is projecting their own fear onto your future. They've never built, so they don't believe it can be built. They've never pursued, so they discourage the pursuit. Their world is small, so your big dreams feel like a threat. And rather than rise with you, they'd rather convince you to shrink with them. It's not always intentional. It's often subconscious. But the effect is the same: doubt, hesitation, and delay. The most dangerous thing about these people is that they don't look like enemies. They look like friends, family, coworkers, people you trust. And because they hold a place in your heart, you let them influence your mind. You allow their fears to become your own. You take their limitations and wear them like they belong to you. But they don't. Their story is not yours. Their ceiling is not your sky. And the moment you start accepting advice from people who've never dared to do what you're trying to do, you trade your future for their comfort. You must become skilled at listening beyond words. Pay attention to how people react when you talk about progress. Do their eyes light up, or do they go dull? Do they support you when it's hard, or disappear when it's inconvenient? Do they challenge you to grow, or console you into staying stuck? Silent saboteurs don't need to sabotage you with actions. They do it with influence, with indifference, with subtle digs that seem small but add up to massive detours in your life. This isn't about cutting people off with bitterness. It's about setting boundaries with wisdom. You don't have to hate them. You don't even have to argue with them. You just need to recognize that not every voice deserves access to your vision. Protect your energy. Guard your mission. Stop handing your dreams to people who weren't built to carry them. Walk with those who speak life into your goals, who challenge you to rise, and who remind you that greatness isn't just possible. It's your responsibility, because the moment you identify the silent saboteurs and choose to distance yourself from their influence, you reclaim your power. You stop living under someone else's fear and start building from your own belief. And that, right there, is where transformation begins. Energy is contagious more than you realize. It's invisible, but it's powerful. You can walk into a room and feel it instantly, whether it's charged with momentum and clarity, or drowned in doubt and confusion. The people around you are either charging your battery or draining it. And if you're not intentional about who you give your time, focus, and presence to, you will slowly find yourself running on empty while others feed off the strength you worked hard to build. This is not about being arrogant or distant. It's about being wise with your environment. If you surround yourself with negativity long enough, you start to see the world through that same lens. If you keep spending your days with people who always talk about what's wrong, what's risky, or what can't be done, then don't be surprised when your own confidence starts to crack. That's not weakness, it's exposure. What you're exposed to repeatedly will eventually shape your internal belief system, your energy, the fire inside you that makes you dream, move, build, and push through hard seasons must be guarded like treasure, because it is. People will ask for your time. They'll ask for your ear. They'll want your presence, but they may not value your purpose. And here's the truth. Just because someone wants access to you doesn't mean they should have it. Some people only show up to take, to vent, to dump their chaos into your calm. And if you allow it, day after day, you start shrinking. Your energy starts bending to fit their emotional climate. You become reactive instead of proactive. You start carrying problems that were never yours, solving crises that aren't your responsibility, and wondering why you no longer feel focused or inspired. That's the cost of unprotected energy. Think of it like this: your energy is your fuel. Your mindset is the engine. Your habits are the vehicle. And the road ahead, your goals, your calling, requires consistent movement. You can't afford to keep pulling over to refuel people who refuse to fill themselves. You're not selfish for preserving your energy. You're strategic, because when your energy is full, you become magnetic. Your ideas are clearer. Your actions are bolder. Your results are greater. And guess what? You then become someone who can genuinely uplift others, not from a place of obligation, but from overflow. So start auditing your circle. Ask yourself, who leaves me better after a conversation? Who drains me? Who supports me in action, not just words? Who truly celebrates my growth instead of feeling threatened by it? These aren't harsh questions. They're necessary ones, because your future is too important to be powered by low energy and empty conversations. You don't need hundreds of people around you. You need the right ones. People who respect your focus. People who don't mock your habits. People who don't treat your goals like a temporary phase. And most of all, people whose energy reminds you of where you're going, not where you've been. You become what you're surrounded by. So surround yourself with excellence, fire, and vision. That's how you protect your energy, and that's how you rise. Your environment is more than just the physical space you occupy. It's the people you engage with, the conversations you entertain, the content you consume, and the habits you reinforce daily. Whether you realize it or not, these factors are constantly shaping your mindset, molding your beliefs, and ultimately directing the course of your life. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if you're trapped in an environment that encourages complacency, negativity, or small thinking, that ambition will slowly erode. Growth cannot thrive in soil that refuses to nourish it. Look at your surroundings with honesty. Are you in a space that challenges you to aim higher, or one that convinces you to settle? Are you hearing encouragement to pursue your goals, or excuses disguised as realistic advice? The conversations you engage in daily either strengthen your vision or weaken your resolve. If everyone around you is content with staying in the same place, then no matter how determined you are, that mindset will start to rub off on you. It's subtle, a missed opportunity here, a lowered expectation there, until one day you find yourself stuck in the very place you vowed to move beyond. This isn't just about avoiding negativity. It's about actively creating an environment that promotes growth. Surround yourself with people who are passionate about their own goals, who push you to think bigger, who aren't threatened by your ambition, but inspired by it. Spend time in places that encourage focus and discipline rather than distraction. Protect your mind from constant exposure to pessimism and empty conversations, because your mindset will always be a reflection of what you habitually allow into your life. Changing your environment doesn't always mean leaving people behind physically. It may mean setting boundaries, limiting your exposure to certain influences, or seeking out new communities where your dreams aren't seen as unrealistic, but necessary. It might require you to change your daily routine, your habits, and even the content you consume. If you continually feed your self-doubt, you will start to question your abilities. But if you consistently surround yourself with optimism, discipline, and people who are actively pursuing their own growth, you begin to see what's possible for you. It's also important to understand that your environment includes your own internal space, your thoughts and self-talk. If you allow negativity to take root in your mind, no external change will matter. Clean up your mental environment by being intentional about what you focus on. Speak to yourself in a way that reinforces possibility, not limitation. Replace self-doubt with self-discipline and fear with action. You're not obligated to stay stuck in environments that no longer serve who you're becoming. Growth is uncomfortable because it often means outgrowing people, habits, and spaces that once felt familiar. But familiarity can be dangerous when it becomes the reason you stop progressing. The moment you decide to change your environment, both internal and external, is the moment you begin to change your life. So ask yourself, does where you are align with where you want to be? If the answer is no, it's time to make adjustments. Seek out spaces where your vision feels possible, where you are not the biggest thinker in the room, and where progress is not just a distant dream, but a shared expectation. Your environment is shaping you every day. Make sure it's building the person you want to become, not holding you back from the life you're meant to live. One of the biggest lies you've been told is that you need someone's permission to chase your dreams, that you need the approval of family, the validation of friends, or the acceptance of society before you take action. But the truth is, you don't need anyone to say, "Go ahead." You only need the courage to begin. Because while you're waiting for someone else to give you the green light, your time is slipping away, your ideas are collecting dust, your potential is going unused, and the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to break free from the need for external validation. You were not born to sit quietly while others decide your worth. You were not designed to live according to someone else's timeline or expectations. The people around you may not understand your vision, and that's okay. It wasn't given to them, it was given to you. Don't expect everyone to get excited about your goals. Some won't believe in them simply because they stopped believing in their own. Others may discourage you because your courage confronts their comfort. And sometimes, the people you think should support you the most are the ones who will try to hold you back, not out of hate, but out of fear. Fear that you'll change. Fear that you'll leave them behind. Fear that your progress will highlight their lack of it. But if you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect support, or the perfect conditions, you'll be stuck forever. Progress doesn't ask if you're ready. It responds when you start. It's not about being fearless. It's about moving forward in spite of the fear. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up, trying, adjusting, and continuing. The people who succeed in life aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who chose to act, who chose to trust their instincts even when no one else could see the vision, who stopped asking, "Is this okay?" and started saying, "This is necessary." It's a shift in mindset. You move from asking for permission to taking ownership. You stop waiting and you begin building. You stop hoping and you start working. That's what separates those who dream from those who execute. Your progress is your responsibility. No one is going to hand you your breakthrough. No one is going to arrive with a golden ticket. It's on you. Your focus, your discipline, your willingness to take the next step even when you're unsure. And yes, people will have opinions. They always do. But opinions are not facts. Approval is not fuel. And applause is not a requirement. Let people talk. Let them question you. Let them doubt. None of that can stop you unless you allow it to. Because in the end, the same people who once questioned your choices will one day admire your results. But that only happens if you choose progress over permission. So move, build, create, speak, launch, grow. Do it scared. Do it misunderstood. Do it without applause. Do it without waiting for someone to say it's okay. Your dreams don't need to be validated. They need to be acted on. Your progress doesn't need a stamp of approval. It needs your decision. You have everything inside you to begin. The question is, will you stop asking and start doing? Because the moment you stop waiting for permission is the moment you finally take control of your life. Guilt is a silent trap that disguises itself as responsibility, compassion, or loyalty. It creeps into your mind and convinces you that choosing yourself is selfish, that walking away from what drains you is betrayal, and that saying no makes you ungrateful. But understand this, guilt is not truth. It is an emotion often used by people who benefit from your self-neglect. And if you're not careful, it will become the chain that keeps you stuck in patterns, relationships, and environments that no longer serve your growth. You start feeling bad for wanting more. You hesitate to change because you fear hurting others. You shrink so others can feel comfortable. That is the trap. Freedom, on the other hand, is a decision. It's not given to you. It's claimed. It comes when you stop asking for permission to be whole, when you stop carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations, and when you realize that you are not responsible for managing other people's emotions at the cost of your own peace. Choosing freedom means you no longer allow guilt to be the reason you stay small, the reason you stay silent, or the reason you stay stuck. It means releasing the belief that your worth is tied to how much you can tolerate or how much you can give without breaking. Many people will try to make you feel guilty for choosing a better life. They'll say, "You've changed," as if evolution is something to apologize for. They'll remind you of your past to make you question your future. They'll paint your boundaries as arrogance and your ambition as selfishness. But understand this, those reactions aren't about you. They're about how your growth challenges their comfort. You are not here to live under the weight of someone else's unhealed wounds or unmet expectations. You are here to live fully, boldly, and freely. Freedom doesn't mean abandoning responsibility. It means taking full responsibility for your own life. It means knowing the difference between helping others and enabling them. It means giving from overflow, not from depletion. When you are free, you understand that saying no to what drains you is actually saying yes to what builds you, and you stop letting guilt trick you into believing that self-care is selfish or that boundaries are cruel. Guilt wants you to stay in places that feel familiar but are slowly killing your spirit. Freedom calls you to step into the unknown, where growth, peace, and purpose live. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace. You don't need to apologize for breaking generational cycles, for putting your mental health first, or for wanting a life that reflects your values. The people who truly care about you will support your freedom. They won't guilt you into staying small. They'll push you to become your highest self, and those who don't, let them go. You're not leaving them behind. You're just refusing to stay behind with them. Guilt is a trap, but only if you keep stepping into it. You have the power to walk away from it at any moment. You have the right to choose freedom over and over again. And the more you do, the lighter you become, the clearer your vision gets, the stronger your voice sounds. Don't let guilt rob you of a life that is meant to be lived in truth and in power. Choose freedom not just once, but daily, because your future depends on it. The truth is, your life will only rise as high as your mindset, your environment, your energy, and your willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. You don't need permission to grow, and you certainly don't need to carry guilt for outgrowing people, habits, or environments that once felt familiar. Every step you take toward your potential may make others uncomfortable, but it will make you powerful. The path won't always be easy. There will be resistance. There will be doubt. But there will also be clarity, strength, and transformation for those who dare to choose progress over approval, discipline over distraction, and vision over limitation. This journey is not about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be before fear, doubt, and other people's opinions began shaping your life. So protect your energy, guard your mind, choose your circle wisely, speak with intention, act with conviction, and above all, keep moving forward. because you were not made to stay stuck. You were not designed to live in the shadows of someone else's comfort. You were born to rise, and now is the time to do it. No more waiting, no more explaining, no more shrinking to fit places you've already outgrown. The door to your future is wide open. Walk through it, not with hesitation, but with the full power of someone who finally understands they were never meant to be held back.